My name's Ashley and I'm a therapist. I'm addictions counsellor. I specialise in trauma childhood as well. I've also overcame addiction and smashing that. I've came over a few addictions. And also have been the loved one of addiction, so I kind of understand it from all angles. I've studied addiction as well as being a therapist. I've also got a master's in addiction. One of my counselling degrees specialised in addiction, and I was doing my PhD in it. So know a lot about it. So I'm just going live and I'm trying to do it at least once a day just to offer a safe space for people. Hello, mystery dude. Oh, I'm starting to recognise people's names. And yeah, I'm just going live and trying to just offer a little space for people to come and chat and get support if they need it. How are you, mystery dude? So tonight I was thinking about talking about what to do when you're trying to find yourself after addiction, because I just did not know who I was. I did not know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. Oh, thank you. I had to lose all my friends because a lot of them were still active in addiction, and I short found out that for me, I couldn't be around it. And just my whole life had revolved around taking drugs and getting drunk, and I just didn't know who I was. So that was a big thing for me to get comfortable in this new life, and I just didn't know where to start. So I know that's probably a bit of a feeling that everybody gets. It's creating a new identity, and it's really hard. I'm trying to think back to what I did, and for the first time in my life, actually, I had to be by myself, because when I got sober, I also very shortly after became a single mum. But when I was getting sober, I was living by myself with my son, and it was the first time that I ever had to just be by myself and be sober. I couldn't sit there down in a bottle of wine or getting off my face, and it was just really, really difficult. I'll just see what this says. Do you think that you do is both good and bad, since you have to keep reminding yourself about your past whilst helping others? I love that question. It's a question I've been asking myself as well. So I actually wanted to be an addictions counsellor before I had an addiction. So my psychotherapist did say to us that I was addicted to mind-altering substances. So I didn't have a sober day in my 20s and early 30s. However, I wanted to be an addictions counsellor, and then I developed an addiction, and I decided, this isn't for me, and I nearly quit being a counsellor altogether. But then I thought I'm going to specialise in something else, and that's why I'm really keen in trauma and childhood, and I've got a big understanding, and I did it in a more broad sense. But then what happened was I kept getting pulled back to it. It didn't matter what happened. I just kept pulled to things. So I worked for a veteran charity, and then they asked us to be head of addictions counselling, and and I already had my master's in addiction. So I kept moving away from it, and then I thought to myself, do you know what it is? I feel like this is my calling in life. I feel like this is what I need to do. And I'm so far removed from addiction now that it doesn't make us want to go back there. And I think it's one of those things where I think I just know so much about it from every angle, and I'd like to support people. But I love that question, because it is a question that I keep asking myself. I can't remember, because I know I've spoke to you before. Oh yeah, that video. So I was going through a bit of a tough time, and I was just sitting there. And this is kind of going back to the topic I was speaking about before, about addiction. Like, how do you do life after you've had an addiction? What do you do? And I was having a bit of a tough time, as everybody does. And that's when the thoughts come in my head, and it's really weird. That's always a time for me to reflect on what's going on. But it gave us an opportunity to think about how far I've came since I've stopped my addiction, but just like why I was using it in the first place. It was a coping mechanism. But yeah, it doesn't make us want to go back to it though. I think I just want to support people, and yeah, I think it's just something that I do keep questioning myself, like, is it part of my identity? Especially because today I was talking about addiction and making sure it's not your identity, but I just feel like it's my calling. I'm very spiritual over here. So hi, Gareth. I feel like I recognise your name as well. Getting a few people who've been on before, which is really nice. I think that's the thing as well. I want to build a community, because I think for me, one of the hardest things that I had to deal with when I came out of addiction was that I just felt so alone and so misunderstood. And I was really shamed for it. I was shaming myself. So I really want to create a space where people can not feel ashamed, and I want to try and put out a message that you don't have to be ashamed about having an addiction. And all the research says this, but yeah, as a society there's such a stigma around addiction. So I'm not in the market to be married. Thank you though. But there's such a stigma around addiction. And I think what I really want to do, and I've thought about this long and hard in my life, is just try and break down that stigma, even if it's just for one or two people, even if it's just for the person ourselves, because I had so much shame. So yeah, that was a very long-winded way of answering that question. Hi, I'm new. Hi, Mr. RJ. Nice to meet you. I'm just doing a little chat about addiction. If anyone has any questions around addiction or just anything, because I think one of the things with addiction is it's usually something which is medicating something underneath. So I had somebody talking about struggling to talk to girls, and I think that I just spoke about that because I think often there's other things going on. So if you have any questions, do ask us. I didn't know this live was a dating platform. I know. I'm not even on the market. I have an addiction to, oh God's sake. Thanks. I'm not right. I'm just going to talk about addiction over here. Like, I'm not interested in people asking as if I'm single or people who are addicted to me. At least that's a good addiction, I would say. Definitely better than the one I had. So trying to build up my identity was really hard, and I imagine this is something that people struggle with when they come out of addiction. It's like, where do you start? And for the first time, I was completely aware that I am by myself, and I had nothing but my own self in my four walls to face everything head on. So one of the things I started doing was really looking at why I had the addiction in the first place. And I went on a really big healing journey. And at first it was really excruciating, especially the loneliness, the loneliness of it. But I started to find myself, and I started to think about, okay, what can I do differently in my life? And I think looking back, what was really helpful and what I would suggest to other people is, if you're going through addiction and you come out of it and then you're like, now what? Use it as a fresh slate. Think, okay, I've spent God knows how long struggling with this, or even before struggling, I was just enjoying myself. Like, let's be real, addiction's not all doom and gloom in the beginning. It's definitely fun to begin with until it's not fun, and then it's really not fun. And I started to think, okay, like, what am I going to do now? And it was like this, it was really nice. It was really freeing to think, okay, I can actually recreate my life. I can like be a new Ashley Bloxham, one that I'm proud of. So I would definitely suggest that, people. What was I addicted to? Taylor, I was addicted to, the main thing I was addicted to, ketamine. That was like the one that really got hold of us. And it was, quite a few years of really, like, every single day, like, could not without fail go without it. It was, I got to the point where my bladder was starting to, like, I was getting bladder issues, and I knew that bladder issues was like, I was on the path now that I would end up with a catheter, and I knew people who had them. And I was in this really scary place where for quite a while, like I would say about a year and a half, where I could see my bladder getting worse, and I could see what was in front of us. Like I almost like had a vision of what my life was going to look like if I continued, because there was people in front of us who were worse off. And it was really scary because I really did not want to be an addict. I would say for the last year and a half, I was so desperate to stop and just couldn't. And I used to write myself notes every day. And I would wake up, well, not every day, but most nights, and I would wake up with a note next to my kettle saying, "Do not do this. Do not buy ket. You hate it." So that was the worst one. I've intermittently went in and out of alcohol. It's something where I kind of take it and then it gets a hook on us, and then I manage to stop. But the way that I managed to stop in the past was just leaning into my other addictions. I really had a bad addiction to sugar, which doesn't sound that bad, but that was a really difficult one to stop. And at one point, I would say I was very bad with cocaine and alcohol mixed. I wasn't bothered about it until I had a drink, but I was drinking quite a lot. And yeah, so that's me. What about you? Well, I need to go to work. Oh, bye, mystery dude. Have a good time at work. You'll have to tell us what that is next time. How did you end up? That is big with the teenagers in Liverpool. I've had it a few times, but wasn't something I would do outside of a party. Yeah, so I actually lived in Ibiza. That was my first introduction to it. So I used to dance on stilts in Ibiza, and that's when I first got introduced to it. And it was like you say, a bit of a party drug, and everyone did it. But by the end of my first season, I was pretty hooked on it. But when I flew back, so I lived there for 5 months the first year, when I came back, I just wasn't interested in it. And then my friends did it recreationally, and this was quite some years later, and I'd already always really enjoyed it. But then I realised that basically I started opening up about my past traumas when I was on it. I started having like loads of deep conversations, me and my friends, and I realized it felt like a safe space. So then I started doing, and I felt so good. Like I just talked about stuff that I'd never spoken about and felt really good for it. So then this happened quite a few nights on the row. And honestly, it was probably a couple of weeks of doing it. And then it was like fun, and then the weekends involved. And after a couple of weeks, I was hooked. And I was like, oh God, I've had ket now for quite a few weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks, I think it was. Can't remember fully. In a row, I need to stop. And then I was like, oh, I'll stop tomorrow. And I was like, oh, I'll stop tomorrow. And it was really fast. That was it. And then I was kind of kidding myself, well, it's fine, I enjoy it. So I was in denial for quite some time, and then I'd kind of hate on it, stop for a week, maybe if I was lucky, a couple of days, then I'll get back on it. And then I think it was the last year and a half or so, I hated it, and I was so terrified. Let's see, when I was using, I'd sleep around. Yeah, I think, did you have an out of body? Yeah, I think it's kind of like, it's so that sex addiction. I don't know, are you talking about that? Or you just talking about it when you were using ket, or what? Like, give us a bit more information. I don't know what to make of that before I start rambling on about it with a reply. Did you have out of body experiences on it? Yes. That's what I was constantly chasing as well, especially at the end. It was very spiritual for me. I think that was another thing. I'm very spiritual, and I don't want to like talk about that too much because I don't want to push it on people or seem like I'm preaching. But I'm very spiritual, and I became spiritual during my addiction, and it was a way that I felt connected, and it kind of made us feel like it wasn't as horrible as it was. So those out of body experiences, the K-holes, were what I was kind of chasing. And it's just the numbness of it. It really calmed my brain down with having ADHD. I just felt like so relaxed, and just yeah. What about you, Taylor? Have you ever struggled with addiction or know anyone with addiction? Obviously, you don't have to answer. I know this is a public space, but ooh, dat. I think, I mean, my addiction to promiscuity, I know that word, I can't say promiscuity, why can't I say that word anymore? Right, promiscuous. Oh, I need to stop. Right, we'll just accept I can't say that word today. I used to take and just sleep around with women. I mean, my addiction, yeah. So one of the biggest addictions. So when I went private into private addiction counselling, after I had my son, just because I wasn't being paid enough with my organisation I was working with, and I needed to get higher money for less hours. So I started doing private addiction counselling, and I thought it would be like drug and alcohol. And the biggest addiction I had through the door was sex addiction. They by far, and I think it's because it's common for a start, but also that you've got like AA meetings, DA meetings, drug and alcohol like services, but there's not anything for sex addiction. So where do people go for it? And also the people I dealt with a lot of shame, which I think is very typical of addiction, but it's just exactly the same. It's the same reward systems in our brains. It's yeah. I did that for like 15 years, mostly on heroin and white. It was kind of what I did when I was high. Yeah, I get that. I do. I wonder with that though, was it just something that you associated it? It was like habitual, or I don't know. I think there's so many different reasons. I find it so interesting, stuff like this, because it's kind of working out why you've got to where you've got to. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with sleeping about, but it's just like the same with alcohol use or drug use. There's nothing wrong with it unless there's a problem for you. Said hi. Hi, Graham. Taylor, I know loads of people with addictions. Yeah, I got addicted to weed. Then I came back from Afghanistan, properly addicted though. Was using it to numb my mind. Haven't touched it for years now though. So you were a veteran then, Taylor, with you saying Afghan. Yeah, I know people who probably. I think that's the thing. Is when you start to use something, when it's not, it doesn't feel fun anymore because it feels like it's in control of you. Is like I think that's what you're kind of saying, and I think so. My psychiatrist said I'm addicted to mind altering substances when I was younger, but I didn't really class. Yeah, I mean, I've sat there and I've smoked weed. Not, I don't now, but I've smoked weed and had periods of my life where I've smoked it quite intensely. But I never really classed it as an addiction because I could take it or leave it, and it didn't rule my life. It wasn't the thing that really got us. And I think that's the thing. It's kind of like everybody has the thing of choice, don't they? Or a couple of things of choice. And I think it's like, what if it's serving a purpose? Like you say, I think ketamine numbed my mind, the same as you're saying. I imagine though, Taylor, if you like, so I was head of veterans, as a head of veteran counselling. I've worked a lot with veterans, and we actually started up an addiction service in the organisation because it is so common. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna take that I love you as a platonic. I don't know how your kissing it is, but not on my watch. Not in the business for that, thanks. But I'll take the compliment. Did you ever have a shot of the opium when you were in Afghanistan? That's such a good question because it is from Afghanistan, isn't it? The opium. God, you can tell it's late. Yeah, well, yeah, was that something that like you did when you were? I don't really know much about it, to be honest. Like, if it's something that soldiers try when they were in Afghan or not. Yeah, that blows you away. What blows you away? Yeah, I hammered the weed badly to the point where I wasn't eating or sleeping. That is quite insane. Yeah, intense. Yeah, my regiment lost 18 men in Afghan, so loads come back and got all sorts of addictions. Mine was weed. Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah. It's so common, and like I couldn't imagine what that was like for you, and I've worked with a lot of vets who've went through similar things, and it's been really hard, really, really hard. I don't want to talk about it too much though, because like you said, was said to me, I don't want to bring it up if it's triggering. Unless you want to talk about it, then I'd love to hear about it if you want to. If not, respect that. But yeah, it's just so common. I think that's the thing with like trauma. So I had PTSD. Obviously I haven't. You can probably tell I've not. I haven't served or anything. I've just worked with veterans as a counsellor. But I had PTSD, and it's looking back, it's definitely was part of my addiction, of why I had an addiction. It was a driving force. And just like even since I've stopped with my addiction, like I'm noticing the effects of the PTSD were a lot more prevalent. So yeah, it's been tough. I've really had to try and heal it, and it's not an easy thing to heal either, because it's the thing with this is one of the reasons why I like to specialize in trauma. But the thing with trauma, PTSD, is it's not just about talking about it, it's the physical part of it, which is really difficult. And I don't know if you've heard of the book The Body Keeps the Score. I bang on about it all the time, but it explains a lot in there. And I think the problem with PTSD is you can talk it to death, but when you're triggered or when something happens, that's it. It's really hard. I've had to do multiple types of therapy. I've had to do a lot of work myself, but I've got there. I have got there. I've like learned to feel safe in my body. No guilt for it. Don't worry, I'm at peace with it, mate. I'm glad to hear that, Taylor. No guilt for invading, though, wasn't right. But don't feel guilt. Peace with yourself, or peace with oppressing the local populations. Vladimir, I don't know what. Vladimir, can you disappear, please? Like, how do you block someone? Report. Unwanted commercial. Harassment, bullying. There we go. Harassing someone else. Report. Okay. Not having that shit on my page. Sorry about that, Taylor. My eyes are blue. Leave him here. Oh, I've got rid of him. He's crying about himself. I seen it. Yeah, I kind of block him. How do you remove? There we go. Taylor, I know you said leave him here, but like I'm not having that. And apart from that, like I've got friends who've served it. Like I'm not having that at all. I don't like it. It made me feel weird, if anything else. Do you know what? I hate it when people feel like they've got the right to sit there and make someone feel shit, like put someone down. Really, do you know what? I'm probably one of the least judgmental people. I would say there's very little that I judge, but the one thing that I'm very judgmental of is people who judge other people, because I've had it done to me and it hurts. And it doesn't hurt in a way, I'm a very strong person, but I've had it just chip away at my self-esteem gradually, and then realised like what was happening, and like I just don't stand it. But I get really angry and probably a bit triggered, to be honest with you, when people are going on like that, because I just think, who are you to pass judgment? Fuck's sake, how do you get rid of this knobhead? Right, I use therapy for... How do you fucking remove some dickhead? Hide user on this channel. I feel like I've got rid of him. It's like a bit like a cockroach, wasn't he? A little angry cockroach. Right, okay. Back on track. Yeah, I really don't like people like being like that. Not on my watch, whether you'd find it or not. Let us know if you can see his messages. I feel like I've got rid of him. Hopefully it's got rid of him for everyone, not just me. Right, I used therapy for intellectualizing for years. I thought I needed therapy to avoid getting triggered, but actually I needed therapy to not abandon myself when I get triggered. Wait, I'm gonna have to read that again to make that sink in. I use therapy for intellectualizing. Yeah, I used to intellectualize really bad. Still sometimes fall in the trap of that. I thought I needed therapy to avoid getting triggered, but actually I needed therapy to not abandon myself when I got triggered. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have a lot of people say to us about therapy, and they'll say things like, oh, therapy's not good, it's not good to talk about stuff, it keeps you stuck in the past, and it can do that. But what I found for me personally is exactly what you said. I needed therapy to learn to love myself and to learn to, it didn't get rid of my PTSD, the therapy, but it allowed me to be able to get close to it. So like I got to the point where I could talk about it without feeling triggered, and I could understand it, and I put the ownership back on the person who caused us the PTSD, not feeling icky and stuff. And I can't really talk about what my PTSD was about on, oh God, that Vladimir, go away. For God's sake. Right, okay, well, Taylor, like, he's here, just let him, I just don't like it, I don't like it. But anyways, just let him crack on. Right, I thought I needed, yeah, what was I saying? Oh God, what was I actually saying there? Yeah, it got us so that I can't talk about what my PTSD was online, but I was blaming myself for it, and I got to the point where I wasn't anymore through therapy, where I was able to like leave the accountability where it lies. But it didn't really get rid of, it was like exactly what you said. What's your name again? Bandicoot. Oh, like Crash Bandicoot, love it. It's exactly what Bandicoot said, where it was intellectualizing it, and actually I just needed it to love myself. I've done some more somatic therapies, which was really helpful. I did Havening, which was really good. Let's see what everybody else is saying though. What's that Vladimir like all about? The best therapy I felt was medication, really focusing on the trauma and sitting with it long periods of time. Yeah. What kind of therapy did you do? Like, when you say therapy, did you do EMDR? So I had worked with a lot of veterans, and one of the roles of a therapist, if you're being ethical, is to sit there and say when it's out of your professional remit. And I used to take on the extreme cases of veterans because we used to have like a placement. So we used to do like grade on an amber light, like a traffic light system. And if it was like green, that was fairly straightforward, and it would be matched to abilities of counsellors. So I used to do the assessments, but if there was somebody who was like red, which is extreme, and we used to call them crimson red, like there was it was very complex, then I would take them on. And because there was such complex cases, often what would happen is I'd get to a point where we'd got through a lot, and I think done a lot of what Bandicoot was saying, would intellectualize it, got to a place where it was comfortable to talk about. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I found with veterans, and I don't want to put you all in a box, but a common occurrence was that kind of getting in touch with the feelings and talking about things was like quite big. So we got to a point where it was a safe space to do it, but I did have to say on quite a lot of occasions that this is out my remit, and actually you need something more like EMDR. So I would act more like a stopgap, and I had to make that call quite a few times, to be honest with you, because talking therapy is good to an extent. But yeah, I'm interested to know about your experience, because it's and what therapies helped you. I've actually got a friend at the moment who's a veteran who's really struggling as well, and it's just to see, to be honest. Yeah, I've got about 200 profiles ready to go for it. I'm just ignoring you, man. Just whatever. Do whatever. Right, I'm in AA. Oh, I love that for you, Chase Valentine. I really, for me, and I'm not going to bash AA here, I think AA is great. I did it for a bit. The only gripe I have, and this is me as the counsellor in is, and I don't know what your feelings on it is. I'm interested to hear it. But my only thing that I didn't like about AA was that I had to start off by saying my name's Ashley, and was it recovering addict, or I'm an addict, or I'm in recovery, something along those lines. And it used to make us feel like, I used to think, but I don't know, it just didn't sit right with us. And I think, like, looking back, it's because it made us feel a little bit stuck. But I will say AA and DA and all of them, it's so great for just going there and hearing people sit there and tell their story. And I was like, wow, if these people can do it, I can do it. It was so inspiring, and it was such a community, and I loved it. I really love that aspect of it. I think it's great. And it was the first time that I felt like I don't have to be ashamed of this, which is why I want to do group, like, just chat online. I think just like talking about it really helps people, just to say, actually, this isn't something I need to be ashamed of. It's understandable, and you can't get out of it. Because the only experience I had was everyone around us wasn't getting sober. They were just getting worse. So it wasn't really putting much faith, instilled much faith that I was going to get clean, to be honest. I was like, oh God, this is the trajectory I'm on. I wonder, oh God, yes, Crash Bandicoot. Yes, I love Crash Bandicoot. I was playing on it for the first time in years, not that long ago. It's so good. Meditation is free. Meditation is really good. Yeah, I always think when people are just like trolling, it says a lot about that person, like how happy they must be with their life and how content. So I try and be compassionate, but I do struggle with people who are judgmental, and I think that's because just a little I've always been like that since I was younger, like I get really, like if I see some injustice, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? But then I've had it done to me as well in like later life, and I really didn't like it. But yeah, meditation is free, but try and have a bit of compassion for Vladimir, because the counsellor in is recognising he's clearly struggling. So I wish you love and light, Vladimir, but I don't want to talk to you. Love and light elsewhere, please. I've done EMDR, yeah. How did you find that? So I've done Havening, not EMDR, which is it's like an up and coming alternative to EMDR. It was really good. It's the somatic things which I think you need for PTSD, which I think talking therapies doesn't fully do. Is that the only type of therapy you did? Not in. I done the 6-week intense therapy at combat stress. Or do you mean to combat stress, or do you mean in combat for stress? What's the biggest tip for combating stress then, Taylor? I'm asking you loads of questions here, but I feel like I love it when someone comes in and who's kind of done the work, because I think it's a bit like the AA meetings where you can pass on things that help people, because one thing I've learned is like not one size fits all, and I always try and like learn from other people what works for them, because I think, I've learned a lot, but you can always learn more, definitely. And I think with addiction, it's so nuanced, it's so subjective. Everybody has their own experience. I think there's current themes which run through it, and the biology's consistent, but I think it's so different for everyone. Combat Stress is a veteran organisation. So that was that EMDR at the Vladimir, come on. Get with the programme. Combat Stress, yeah. There are some really good organisations, I think, for veterans. But the one I worked for, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's called Anxious Minds. That was really great. And the person who runs it, he was a veteran himself, and he started off just doing a little group for veterans, because he was like, I'm sure he told us that he was living on the streets. I might be exaggerating by accident there, but I'm pretty sure I told us that. It was Dire Straits, whatever it was, and he started up this group, and it grew from there, and it's such a good organisation. He's amazing. And he doesn't take anything from it as well, like he lives off his war pension. What's it oh God. I'm getting my life back on track. I topped around 81 kilograms. I'm exactly 60.3 kilograms at the moment. Oh mad. Overnight soak chai seeds every night before bed. Walking, reading books, breathing exercises help. Love that. Yeah, that was a big thing for me. That was a bit of a game changer in terms of. So I quit my drug addiction, but when I started like doing things like looking after my body, I really started to respect my body. I started getting really keen and interested in like things like my microbiome and stuff. And like I'm such a little geek, so I was like, learning everything about my body, my heart, and everything. And it was the first time I started like paying attention to it in a way that wasn't, what does it look like, or is it like the right weight? And I started like paying attention to myself, and then that's when I stopped drinking, and I started drinking socially again, and it crept back in not that long ago, and I decided to stop drinking on the 29th of August, only recently. But yeah, that was when the addictions just kind of dropped away. I wouldn't say alcohol was an addiction, it was something I went in and out of, but I was definitely addicted to it at certain points. I think it fluctuated around my bipolar and loneliness and stuff like that. But yeah, it's so important, like things like chai seeds and breathing, mindfulness, just being aware of yourself. I was in like autopilot the entire, like my whole life until I was like came off my addiction. I was like, "Ooh, hi Ashley, nice to meet you." Who the hell are you? I don't think I'd like looked at myself metaphorically. But yeah, reading, love that. Yeah, it's just finding things which like make you feel good about yourself, isn't it, main? Bandicoot. I have a big Crash Bandicoot toy my dad bought me 20 years ago at Thorpe Park. Nurture's mine a child. I love that. I love that. I love teddy bears. Oh my God, do you want to see what I bought today? Right. I love jelly cats. This is my inner child, and I've bought myself a jelly cat eye mask when I go to sleep. Love it. I'm gonna wear this actually. Well, it's actually a Christmas present. I just love it. I love teddies. It is nurturing your inner child. Crash Bandicoot is definitely a way to do that. Commerce Services Veteran Charity provides residential courses for veterans therapy. I love that. Great, I love that. Do you like Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, mate? Yeah, Vladimir, join in nicely. Come on, you were join. This is right. It's a safe space. Can we just keep it all love and light? Get involved. Crash Bandicoot or Spyro? Fucking Spyro though. Get real. Spyro. I'm saying that I only had the Game Boy version, but I get a war pension too. I'm only 35 and it helps a lot. EMDR was okay, but for me the real healing happened when I meditated on my trauma. Yeah, meditation. I need to do that more. I know all the benefits. There's so many benefits, especially with addiction. I do meditate in the sense that I do a lot of mindfulness, and I do meditate from time to time, but I really struggle to just like. Do you know, I'm hearing myself say excuses. I struggle to find the time to do it, because it feels like such a chore to is. But I really love meditating, like being mindful. Like I love going out for walks and like really paying attention to like the flowers, which sounds so lame. I love it, and sitting with the trees, and yeah, just. I think that's the way I do it. I love meditating before bed, or sometimes instead of a nap I will, and I just like concentrate on what I can see. But yeah, I'm making up excuses. Yeah, meditation's so good though, honestly, especially for addiction and trauma. The more you meditate, you probably know all this, but just for if anyone's wanting a little lecture on meditation and what I know about it. So like meditation, like it strengthens your connections with your logical side of your brain, And obviously when we're getting triggered with trauma and anxiety and all this stuff, it's using your emotional side of the brain. So it honestly could list all the benefits, but I know I should do it more and I don't. So I should. I'm going to. I know. I think mindfulness, it's about finding what works for you, isn't it? Oh, thank you, Jason. Bandicoot don't know Spiral that well. Can't remember it. Yes, Vladimir, you're in. Get involved in a good way. Bandicoot all the way. Let's bond through that. Sedit, hi. Belt eye mask, that isn't it? Isn't it just? Oh, yeah. If you meditate on specific traumas, you start to really view it from all angles and it changes the thoughts and feelings that come with them. So that's what Havening did for me. So what Havening does is you think about the trauma and then it gets you to kind of unwire it in your brain. I don't really fully understand it, to be honest with you. I learned about it, but I don't want to sit here and tell you the ins and outs of it and get it wrong. Because I don't fully know it myself. But one of the things that happened when I was doing this is you think about the trauma, then you do the havening, and then you think about the trauma again. And when I was thinking about it again, it was like it had rewired it in my brain. So the situation, I was very powerless in it. And after I'd done the havening, I thought about it again, the actual trauma itself then was powerful in it. But then since then I've been able to start to look at it from different angles. It's almost like took the sting out of it, which has then meant I've been able to see it in a different way. And there's a few things like which happened in my childhood as well with a specific person, and with the havening I'm now able to have more compassion for that person. So yeah, I wonder if it's been a bit like what you've experienced with meditation, a similar kind of experience, but in a more of a quick fire way. But yeah, I might try that, meditating. But then this is the thing. I don't know if I think I've got to a point now where it's like I don't think I need to revisit my trauma. But if it comes up again, I will definitely, because I find sometimes that it gets triggered and then it's like, okay, I need to look at this again in a different angle, a different light. Maybe I need to look at that, meditate on that judgment stuff, because I started getting quite angry at Vladimir, I'm not going to lie, when he was saying them things to you. But also, I think that I'm quite pro being kind to parents. He's deserve it, for God's sake. Such a pretty face, still young. Oh, thank you. 35, 30, am I 36? I'm 36. I'm 36. I forgot I've had a birthday. I'm young, but not too young. No worries, I'll be cool, yes. I should not let personal opinions spill over at your channel. Thank you for apologising. I really appreciate that. I love it. Do you know what it is? One thing I've been learning to do recently, like this last, take accountability, and it's really bloody hard. So I've got like mad respect for that. And even to Taylor, I feel accepted. Oh, look at that, Taylor. Loving it. The joy is, Vladimir, I was very angry at you, but I've got a newfound respect for you. Thank you for apologising. I just didn't want it to be, I think one thing I'm really like, really pro is bigging each other up and not putting each other down in life in general. But also, we all get carried away on stuff and no one's perfect. I'm certainly not. Right. No, I appreciate that, Vladimir. I've just said, Reggie, thanks, man. Apologies genuinely to both. Yeah, apology accepted from me. Yeah, exactly the same experience to what you just described, very similar. I've not got a face mask, but I've got a crown. Love that. Oh, I could do it. I've got a crown, actually. Shall I go get my crown? So I went to a festival recently with my stepdad and his girlfriend, because I hadn't seen him for ages, and went to this little tiny festival, and I bought got given this by the person who owned the shop because I bought a wand. I said whatever. And then I did this, I was like, got him so many wand sales because I was telling everyone about it. And then he ended up giving us this crown. And I put it on all the time. This is so lame. But you know, if I'm having a bad day, I'll put my crown on just to make us feel like a princess. I'm like, oh, I'm a princess of my house. And it really makes us feel, I've like now associated my crown with feeling good. I was going to wear it actually when I was doing my lives. I'm going to keep it on. Feels better actually. I'm coming off my why can't I speak today? Subonox and all that. And I can't contain emotions sometimes. I'm the same. I've struggled to contain my emotions sometimes. Sometimes I'm like a belter at keeping it cool. Like sometimes I can be very calm and collected. But if someone triggers us, not 100 in emotions, different things as well. Like if I'm stressed, I wonder what your experience with like can't contain emotions. Is it around certain things like triggers? Like, do you know what as well though? I do think sometimes what I fell into the trap of when I've been on my healing journey is I forget that I am just human as well. It's almost like I think I've got to be so healed and I've got to be superhuman, and then I remember, no, I'm not. I'm a human being. I have emotions. Sometimes I get triggered. Sometimes I get things wrong. Sometimes I'm an absolute dickhead. Let's be real. Sometimes I'm the problem. But, you know, on what all. I give everybody else grace, and I'm like learning to give myself grace. Feels better actually. I'm coming off my Subonox and all that. Contain. Oh, sorry, I thought that was Taylor speaking. I've just realised that's Vladimir. I went and turned off the net for a sec and took a breather. So what's that medication for then? Is but yeah, Vladimir, do you know what it is? Like, I really rate that you've came back on and apologised. I think like that is actually a really emotionally intelligent thing to do. And I think it takes a lot of courage and bravery to like say, actually, think I was being a bit bit not cool there, but owning it and just taking accountability. I think not enough people do it, and it's not a nice feeling to do that, let's be real. So like I rate that a lot. Thank you. Yeah, something we all get like emotions get the better of us. Yeah. Hi Babu. Yeah, we all, I hope you feel better soon too. Well, that's a nice turnaround. I did try to get rid of you as well. I'm sorry about that. But also, boundaries are important. Let's be real. Yeah. But yeah, that's good. Just yeah, I think so. Taking yourself away from the situation. Like one of the things that I used to work a lot with, because I've worked a lot with lads. Like that seems to be like the main. Like a lot more lads than lasses, to be honest with you. And anger is a big thing that would come up. I think lads struggle with anger. Lasses struggle with anger. I struggle with anger. But I think lads, it's more of a go-to. Like you're all testosterone driven. And anger is a big thing. And one of the best things you can do is literally just take a step away from it. Opioid addiction. I'm through that whole process and coming off those programs. But a few days into finishing it and I've not slept. No wonder that's why you're going a bit, what do you call it? Like, oh, it's weird. Like where you're just shooting shooting stuff without thinking. Yeah, it's pretty hard to, like not sleeping, coming off it as well. Like, oh my God. I had like drug-induced psychosis which now I know is bipolar, but when I was coming off my addiction, and it's not nice. So yeah. Hi from Pakistan. Sardar. Nice. Nice for you to join us. Oh yeah, Taylor, Taylor, honestly, I think You can tell you've got a lot of grace. I like that energy. Yeah. You can tell your therapy's worked, that's for sure. 20-mile walk, although maybe not in your withdrawal stage. Hope you find peace soon. Take care. Yeah, and also just remembering that it will pass. Just if it gets bad, I will say, I don't know where you are. Are you in the UK, Taylor? Therapy for sure. Yeah, but do you know what it is? Respect for everyone. Thank you. Respect to you as well. I've never been to Pakistan. I'd like to go. I want to go everywhere on the world. I've not been many places outside of Europe. I've heard it's very beautiful though. Yeah, Vladimir, where are you in the UK? Because if you are really struggling right now, I couldn't, but I get you. Yeah, Vladimir, if you're in the UK and you are struggling with sleep and like you are coming off, I would phone the crisis team and see if they can support you in any way with something. So I can't like say what they'll do for you, but I know for me that I end up getting like sleeping tablets and stuff. I don't know what your situation is. It's quite hard to know, but yeah, it's not sleeping is not good. But you're doing fucking amazing. And honestly, like a future you is gonna be so proud of the version of you today. Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm gonna go because I've got to go to bed. And I've really enjoyed speaking to you all. Vladimir, try and do some nice positive things for yourself and be kind to yourself. And I'm really glad you've came on today, actually. We've had a bit of a roller coaster ride, haven't we? We've done a full 360 here, and I'm rooting for you. I was trying to kick you off before. I've got mad respect for you. But yeah, you're doing great. First 3 days are the worst. Please come to Pakistan. My country's so beautiful, like mountains, snow, river, sea, desert, especially our northern areas. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Vladimir, get yourself on Crash. Yes, get Crash Bandicoot. No, stop. Yeah, you do need a decent sleep. Stop apologising. Like I say, we're all human. Like I say, I think it's fair to say everyone is got respect for you. Like, just don't need to apologise anymore. Will it make me crash out? Do you know what? I'm surprised this live hasn't got you to sleep. I'm talking utter garbage for 53 minutes now. Yeah, just try and do something to distract yourself. Yeah. I'm trying to think, what did I do? Right, this is making me think now because I feel like I'm just saying like really shite things, suggestions here to you. What did everybody do in their first few days of getting sober? And I'm going to have a little think what I did in my first 3 days of getting sober. I didn't sleep, I remember that much. And I was having psychosis. I did go for a bit of a walk, actually. Not a 20k one, but I did go out for a little walk. And I think I'm trying to think what I did. It's such a blur, you know. I remember that I was by myself in the house and I made a point because I had a young child. He was like, God, 8 months, I think. So I asked my dad to have him for 5 days and I think I pranged out in the house by myself. I was watching Grey's Anatomy. I watched a series and I remember going out for walks, but I ended up having psychosis, but I was kind of like in and out of that. Yeah. But the thing is, you get past that bit and then you start to see a bit clearer. You feel a bit low. And then you get to about 3 weeks and I started getting like, I don't know if this has been other people's experiences, but I started getting like really overly emotional in a good way, like pure joy at things like the sunset. Or like I remember Fix You by Coldplay came on. I was getting like rushes, you know, a bit like pill rushes, like, or I don't know if you've experienced that, but like you know, you get like tingles all over your body. And it was just off this of listening to Coldplay, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm actually like physically enjoying life again. And it, yeah, so just stick with it, Vladimir, you're doing amazing though. Yeah, but good night, hopefully you get to sleep. Might keep you up, to be fair, probably avoid it for now. Yeah, I'll be up all night. I love it. I'm gonna get it again. Right, let's see what people are saying. Where are you from? I'm from Newcastle in England, Northerner. Heroin only. Is that something that you did, Brian? Brian D? Night, Vladimir. It was nice meeting you. Come join again. The word you want is frisson. What's frisson even mean? Is this a word I didn't know I needed? I said I was going to bed about 10-15 minutes ago, so I've got his kept us about. I need to know what frisson means now though before I go. Hey, you look like an actress. Oh my god, how? I'll take that on the chin. Thank you. I don't know if you mean a specific actress. It could be like the Trunchbull or something for all I know. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Frisson, a shiver or thrill. Spine tingle. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I had a frisson. I had my first non-drug induced frisson and I was loving it. It really was. I was mad. Just like, oh my god. And then I just started falling in love with life from that point onwards. Actually, it was really nice. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go. I've really enjoyed talking to you. And yeah, I hope you all have a good night, and I'll speak to you soon.